so glad we can spend this time together. See, not as crazy as
JRightLive. Thank you for tuning in to my weekly discussions. My purpose is to promote productive conversation, to allow you to wrap your mind around something other than your normal. Other than this is how you was raised as a child, so this is how you act as an adult. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here. Recently, I've been criticized for being too hard on women. You know, it's always woman's fault or something. I even been called bitter. And Lord knows I'm not that. But as I promised, I said, well, I'm going to do a video just about men to show you that I'm very centrist in understanding of what our problems are and what women problems are, or my opinion on it, I should say. So that's tonight's video. Tonight's video is the top 5 reasons why guys have difficulties when dating. The top 5 reasons why guys have difficulties when dating. So straight to it. Number 1, role reversal. Our roles are no longer, I'm king, do as I say, I run the household. If I say, hey, woman, I want you to stop working, and it don't just work like that anymore. Women are equal to men now. You are my equal, so it's a partnership. You know, hey, what's my opinion? Hey, what's my opinion? We come together, we make one decision on it. And that may be a little bit challenging for the nature of men, because we like to think that, you know, we men. And I think that's a real problem. It's hard for guys to adjust. Guys are not good at adjusting like how ladies are, in my opinion. I just don't think we are good at adjusting in that type of relationship environment. First off, we're not good at the whole relationship thing anyway. That's not our particular thing. But in that environment, you want us to adjust? Woo! It's a task. But it's not impossible. It's just a task. We have to understand that our woman is going to make more money than us. Our woman may be in an authoritative position like a manager, supervisor, CEO, VP, president, whatever, and they will bring this decision-making oriented skills into their house. It is 100% guaranteed. And we have to understand that, okay, you know, we got to cope with this, we got to work with this and work it out. It's a challenge, but ladies, give us some time, we're going to get it down. Some guys have it better than others. Some guys are pretty stubborn, but give us some time, work on it with us, we get it down. The next thing is, our number 2 reason is we did not have a proper example of how to be men while growing up. We didn't have that example. You know, they say you can't teach a man how to be a man. Yeah, you can't sit down and give a class. That's not how you teach a man how to be a man. You teach a man how to be a man because he has something to see and to mimic and to copy and be like, oh, that's what my dad did, or that's what my male figure in my life did. We didn't necessarily have that. You know, as we come up with a generation of fatherless generation, and we didn't have that example coming up, or a good example. Even if we did have an example, we didn't have a good example. Now, I tell you, some smart guys may have learned what not to do from their fathers. You know, some guys may have learned that. Some guys, that can be just as valuable as learning what to do. Because you can see your father and be like, man, you know what, man, my father's a screw up. Not talking about my father particularly, but, you know, your father may have been a screw up, and you may have learned, oh, I'm not going to screw up like that. That could be very valuable. You know, I don't think sometimes we don't chime in on that, but that could be very valuable. But nevertheless, we didn't have a good example of what to do. We may have had an example of what not to do, but not what to do. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, this is actually, you guys came up with this one for me, is commitment, which is nothing new. I say men have had commitment issues since men have been men. But it's still a problem today, and I think it's still going to be a problem tomorrow for a couple of reasons. One is in our natures, in our, I don't know, to go forth and frolic, to spread our seeds around, and to, you know, help the human species to keep ticking. I think it's just in our genes, honestly. I know that's a lame excuse. It's in our nature to, you know, whatever. But I really do think that. And we got problems with so many options. You know, you put a guy in the room with only 5 options, they have no problem with this being with 1. But you can put a dude in the room with 100 options, like, God, dog, you know, it's times 20. So there's a lot of options out there. You know, women outnumber men, and then it's just kind of hard to keep focused sometimes. But nevertheless, so number 4 is going to be communication. Now, as everybody know, that communication is the biggest thing in a relationship ever, and without that, it's a major problem. Now, I'll tell you why it's a problem for men. Men, we used to be the king, so it's kind of like, hey, we say this, do it. Now it's like, hey, I say this, then it's like something coming back at me. Oh, you say that. Well, I say this. Our communication broken, man, straight up and down. Men are horrible at communicating. We don't know how to express ourselves and not feel weak or not feel vulnerable, because that's not something that we just like to feel. We don't like to feel weak and vulnerable, but sometimes telling a woman how you feel leaves you just that. It leaves you exposed in a sense, and we don't like to feel exposed. So communication is a major problem for guys, because we don't know how to sit down and tell our woman, hey, look, I'm thinking this is on my mind, XYZ, how do you feel? Because sometimes we may say how we feel, but totally suppress how you feel, which is counterproductive, because if we neglect how you feel, and then it's a two-way street, it's now become a one-way street, and now you feel back in the corner and like, oh, he never listens to me. There you go. You have that problem. So communication is a big problem now, because it has to take place. Before it didn't. It didn't have to take place. I'm man, I say do this. And this is kind of how it went. Now it's like, I'm man, I say do this. And you're like, I'm woman, I say do that. And now so the man has to communicate. Don't work out too well. All right, now number 5. I kind of spoke about this earlier, but I'm going to kind of tweak on this, is that men lack focus for one woman. Like I said, it's kind of in our nature, but I'm going to give it to another thing. We have a problem with the new and unknown. I think human in general have a problem with the new and unknown, but we have a problem with the new and unknown. We could have a very attractive woman that is a very good woman, and we'll look at another woman and we'll think, and that little can go so far. And man, it's crazy. So I think we have a hard time focusing on, hey, this is one woman, we're gonna be with this one woman, nobody else, one woman. And, you know, we be like one woman. Oh, my bad, baby. You know what I mean? It shouldn't work like that. We need to do better at focusing on one woman. You know, if we choose one woman to be our woman, focus on that. You know, provide that with what it needs, and hopefully that seed grows into a nice big tree. That's what we should do. But we are very bad at it. And yeah, we got to get better. But I'll say this, ladies. Men, we may have not gotten off to a fast start or a good start, but have some patience, and we will come around, some faster than others. And just know that we're not perfect, but we have problems. Try helping us with it. You know, hey, I say I'm not going to go touch on women, so I'm not going to say anything. But try helping us with it. If we have a problem with role reversal, having a problem with, didn't have a proper example, commitment, communication, focus, try to work with us on those areas and allow our weaknesses to be your strengths, and vice versa. And we'll come along. You'll be surprised. You'll be upset, because that's just how life is, but you'll be surprised nevertheless. So I want your comments. The only reason I do this is to communicate with you. If you're not going to communicate with me, I really don't want to do this. So I need you to comment with me, because that's what I like to do. I like to hear what other people like to think other than myself, you know, because I know my own thoughts. I think about it all day. But what do you think? How do you feel? Comment below, subscribe above. I greatly appreciate it. I'm out.